One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, in the place to be. It is your player partner from the bottom of the map. Well, one half of the bottom of the map. It's your dog Israel. It's been a little minute. Sitting back, kind of watching the landscape of everything play out. Oh, before we get into anything, you know, because it's been a while. Make sure you tap in, hit that like, subscribe, share button. Um, and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell your big booty auntie and them. It's one half of them again, and we're just checking in. Just to fill out kind of what's all been going on. We seen what happened in the playoffs. Ohio State got the championship. Um, Miami, making some moves. Got Carson Beck, defensive coordinator, uh, making some other moves. Things are starting to heat up in the portal. Um, I think I want to take this approach, kind of like shout out to South Coast. Um, I checked one of the patio vids where basically you say you kind of really don't care about what's happening, and that's kind of my approach right now. Even with kind of the hires, I think they hired like another defensive back coach. Grabbing more people in the portal and all of this stuff. And part of me doesn't care. And a part of me is starting to understand college football in the way that it's turning, where NIL and the hype machine has to be there. Um, so I'm down for the hype machine. I'm down for, you know, um, getting free agents. These are like free agent signings. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we got the next biggest free agent, Carson Beck, his girlfriend, one of the twins. She plays basketball for the U. So like they're making moves and it being headline news and being blown up in the media. This is part of college football hype these days, right? You got all this conference realignment, head coaches, Belichick, and new regimes, and Ryan Day was on he was on a chopping block and ends up winning a championship. Notre Dame, you know, comes not out of nowhere, but a lot of people aren't believers. Marcus Freeman gets them to the national championship, and they look like a good team. They're going to be here for years to stay, and you know, you see the money that people are getting at NIL. Carson Beck getting 4 mil, Jeremiah Smith, um, Arch Manning getting 6 mil. Um, so you're starting to see like money. The landscape of college football is changing. Part of it's for the good, so you don't have these juggernaut teams that they're spending the money where they're just doing it under the table to get all the best players. That's why you had teams like Alabama that were good for like 15 years. You had teams that no matter what, because they had the most resources and they had the most connections, that they could get the best players and keep the best players. So there wasn't a lot of parity in college football. I think that's going to change. So you got teams like Indiana, who came from out of nowhere, who had a really good season. SMU, another team that in the '80s, Eric Dickerson days, they were really good, but they're a player now. So you're probably going to have a lot more of that. Schools that are able to get money and pay these players, man. They deserve to get paid, but I think it's going to create a lot of parity, and you're not going to get a lot of teams that get these 5, 6, 7 year runs. You even seeing it with Georgia. Like Georgia looked beatable for the past few years, but you're going to start to see probably the dynamic shift in the SEC again. And you went through that because in the '90s it was Florida. Florida was the team to beat. It started shifting. It shifted. LSU had some runs. Um, Tennessee had some good years. They even won a national championship with T. Martin. Georgia had some runs. Georgia, when they had Mark Richt, they were good, but their knock was they never could win the big one. Bama, once you know, they got Saban. The Saban era came in and it shifted the dynamics of what was going on with Georgia, um, South Carolina. So it's a lot of things that are shifting, even with the Big Ten, like just the Big Ten having Oregon and USC and those Pac-12 teams now being a part of the regular Big Ten schedule. A lot of stuff can change. Michigan, they could be back. You could have surprise teams like Wisconsin or Indiana was a surprise team. Penn State, as much as I can't stand them, they did look good. I had to give it to them. Like they like a good team. So just overall, like the landscape of college football is changing. I think for the good. Hopefully, it just doesn't get too out of control, where players are like starting to try to transfer in the middle of the season. And but I like the parity. Now to Miami, kind of in the vein of what South Coast and some of the other people I've been hearing. A lot of people's not putting out a lot of stuff right now because there's just not a lot of. Right now, you're just gasping for straws, right? You're just reaching for straws, and you're just part of the hype machine, right? Anytime they sign a new player, hype machine. Anytime they get a new coach, hype machine. Anytime you see, a high school player who say they committed, you're looking at their highlights, hype machine, right? All the hype machine, even this potential of Jeremiah Smith leaving Ohio State and hitting the portal and Miami potentially being a part of that hype machine, right? It's all part of the hype machine. And right now, you do need the hype machine for college because that's just the way that they're moving. Um, so the hype machine is is what's going to change the brand of college football because now you just need so much more coverage and those traditional powerhouses may not be the traditional powerhouses that we're used to. Teams that been around for 125 years, and you're just going to get new teams that are going to be good, and they're going to have younger coaches. Um, so we gotta it's like part of me doesn't care because the hype machine doesn't translate to wins. But I understand you gotta like galvanize the fan base, right? We gotta have something to cheer for. We gotta have something to look forward to. I think with Canes fans, we've been part of the hype machine and we drank the Kool Aid one too many times. Some of us are still drinking the Kool Aid, um, and I think this past season some of us who had stopped drinking the Kool Aid started drinking the Kool Aid again, going against our better judgment, going against our gut feeling, going against history, and just saying, "Fuck it, we're gonna." The recipe is there, right? The recipe for success is there, supposed to be there, and we see what happened. Um, Same old, same old. You get hyped for something, and you get underachieving, you get bad results, and you get blame everywhere it shouldn't be. Um, so now, started. The schedule has been released, and we're looking at next year. Getting Carson Beck was essentially a good move. I don't know. I can't say it's a good move because now, what do we do with like? Is this going to be an every year thing? It's going to go hunt. Or are we going to develop like somebody like Emory Williams or the other quarterback from South Georgia? Um, are we developing them? Are they just like insurance policies just in case somebody gets hurt? So it's like we got to have a system in place. Because if we go hunt for a quarterback every year, it kind of just means everything else needs to be in place. So if we had a plug and play quarterback that has some experience, he could just come in and he doesn't have to the team doesn't have to adjust. The quarterback just has to come in and just throw the ball. running plays, right? Don't turn the ball over. But coaching at the end of the day is going to be our biggest issue, like it has been in the past. And if we're not holding coaching at the highest degree accountable, we're going to end up looking at next year. We're looking at an 8-5 season, 9-4, 7-6 season, underachieving, losing the teams we shouldn't lose to, being in dog fights with teams we shouldn't be in. It's kind of like the same thing over and over and over again. I'm almost like encouraging Miami fans to become fans, like pick a second team and have a second team to choose for, to root for. South Coast, I know you in Louisiana. LSU wouldn't be a bad team to root for. You know, you got some people that are in different places, different states that got pretty good teams. Like, as you all know, yeah, Notre Dame has been my second team since I was a child. Like I said, blasphemy. I know all that, but Notre Dame, seeing kind of like them making it to the championship game, not having all the talent, but having good coaching, having strategy, having things set up to maximize their talent, they made it to the national championship, right? And they know if they get better talent, especially on offense, they got a chance to be a player for years to come because everything else is in play. Um, Miami is just, you're seeing what's happening not just with the with Hurricanes football. You're seeing it kind of in the landscape of all of Cane sports. I don't know if you guys pay attention to, but you see what's happening with the basketball team. Jim Larinaga, he's just like NIL. It's too much. We went to the Final Four. We had an Elite Eight run, and players are transferring. So just getting players off of merit and wanting them to be committed to the program, those days are over. But you got to have, it's like everybody has to be on board. Like the athletic department, the athletic director, the coaches, boosters, like everybody has to be on board with this for it to work. And when they're not, and you got to have coaches that's really ready right now, um, who got experience. And I'd rather a coach, when you hear them, they started at high school, then they went to a D3 school, then they were, uh, a coordinator at, uh, Southwest Missouri State for 4 years, and then they went to this school, then they worked their way up. And when they come in with pedigree. Um, that way, because NIL is taking players in and out, you got to be able to produce like immediately. You've seen it with schools. You've seen it with like SMU. You've seen it with Indiana. You see it with coaches that come in, and it's just like we got to produce year one. This going through rebuilds and all that stuff. I don't think the college landscape is going to allow that anymore. You're not going to be able to keep players for 3 and 4, 3 years, 4 years, even though players, because of being able to red shirt, get medical red shirts and all this stuff. You've seen players playing for 7, 8, 9 years in college. You're just not gonna be able to keep them. If they're too good, they're just gonna transfer, right? You see, like SMU got a lot of Miami transfers and what they did with them, right? And you're just gonna get players that other schools are gonna be offering money. They can go play, they can boost their NFL stock, and they're gonna be gone. So we gotta get with the times, right? We gotta get with the times. We gotta recruit. We gotta get the talent, and then we gotta coach that talent to win right now. And if you got players like someone like Emory Williams, you better be developing them. Develop your talent. You know what I'm saying? Like develop your talent so they're ready to go, or and give them opportunity, or they're gonna be out of there. Because not gonna front, when I watched them in the bowl game, I was not impressed at all. And I would have thought because he was gonna start the second half, they was gonna showcase him. He didn't throw much, and it just didn't look very. It didn't look very comfortable. Of course, this is his first game back, but you think you know We lost the game anyway. You would think he would get in there, let him loose, turn him loose, let him go for what he know, right? Show that he's back. If Carson Beck or whatever quarterback wasn't available, this is who we're going to go into next year with, and he's giving us a spark, something to look at, right? But we'll see. I think there's going to be the fan base that's going to continue to be hyped about every receiver we get and offensive lineman and who we get this person in the portal. I kind of like Miami getting talent. To me, that's never been an issue. I mean, almost like every year they're getting top talent. Even if somebody's going to have to show me if you're getting, let's say your recruiting class is top 50, right? Top 50 recruiting class. There's no way you could tell me if you get a top 50 recruiting class, you don't have elite talent. You may not have elite talent at every single position, but with a top 50 recruiting class, you have elite talent. And if you have good coaching, your team is going to be good. You don't have to have top five recruiting, top five portal classes, and then, like, nah, you don't have to have that because teams don't have that every year. There were teams that had, but teams don't have that every year, and they're good. And Miami, Florida produces too much talent. There's too many, what they're called hidden gems or guys that were 3-star athletes that go to schools and become stars. And Florida has just too much of that. And they recruit Florida. They don't have to have a top five recruiting class to just see from 6A football to 5A football, 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A football in Florida. There's just pools of talent. Pools of talent. So you don't have to have, people talk about we need better recruiting classes and better recruits, this or that, right? That's not true. It's plenty of talent. Just coach your guys up. The only difference between a 3-star and a 5-star, a lot of times, is what school they play for and how much numbers they put up. Right? If you take I think there's what was the year we had Joseph Yearby and Dalvin Cook. Right? They both came from Central. Both played in the same backfield. They're both putting up stupid numbers. Yearby comes to Miami and it's just like an afterthought. Dalvin Cook goes to Florida State, and to me, he becomes the best college football running back I've seen with my two eyes. I didn't see. I think I was too young to see Barry Sanders. Um, and of course, I didn't see guys like O.J. Simpson. I really was too young to really watch. I seen highlights, and I seen some games of like Bo Jackson, or like Tony Dorsett, Pittsburgh. But there's been some really good running backs. Um, some really, really, really talented running backs. I think Lawrence Phillips was like a great running back in Nebraska. Of course, we had our monsters at the U with Edge and Portis and Gore and McGahee and all of them guys. But when I seen Dalvin Cook, you know, he is just amazing to me. Some people always say like Ward Dunn might have been Florida State's best running back, but I would say Dalvin Cook. But all that to say, even like JoJo Trader and Jeremiah Smith, same school. You know, I'm ready for the JoJo show. Those roles could have been completely reversed. JoJo could have went to, you know, Ohio State and became that guy, and Jeremiah is just sitting in the background. All that to say is like talent in Florida is there. Talent in South Florida is there. You don't have to get the top five. And then, when you're a good recruiter, you go get that right tackle from Iowa. You go get that guard from Virginia. You know what I'm saying? You go get that linebacker from, Kentucky, that safety from Louisiana, a la Ed Reed. You go get players that you can plug in certain positions. But outside of that, man, talent. That ain't. So I'm just like, we're just gonna sit and watch and see what kind of happens through the rest of this off season. Um, when we feel the need to jump on the hype train, we're gonna jump on the hype train because you gotta. I mean, it's your team. We know at the end of the day, like hype doesn't produce wins. You know, recruiting classes, numbers don't produce wins. Names on the back of the jersey don't produce wins. Like, so getting Carson back. Oh, we got Carson back. We should be. That don't produce wins, but you gotta feed into the monster somewhat. Even in the back of my mind, no, it doesn't. I don't really care. I don't give a damn. Like, you can go sign everybody. But when we're in a back and forth game with Wake Forest or a back and forth game with Pittsburgh or Georgia Tech, North Carolina State is just a Boston College. Like, why are we in a back and forth game with these guys when, oh, look at the name on the back of the jersey. Oh, the recruiting class. Oh, we signed this person. Oh, we got, like, so why are we in a back and forth game with Rutgers? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we in these back and forth games, or we're down, or we're coming from behind, or we need miracles to pull out victories against Virginia? You know what I'm saying? Like, basically, we kind of see through all of it, but we know it's necessary. So, some people go ahead, man, push that hype train, put all them hype videos up, of all the new receivers that are coming in and cornerbacks and safeties and new guys and coaches that are coming in, man. Put them hype videos up, hype them guys up. But at the end of the day, we all know, man, that don't produce wins. And you got to get victories out here. Brands stay because they're winners. Miami is an anomaly because their brand was built from out of nowhere, and they've been able to keep their brand strong without winning. And hopefully they'll be able to do that. But NIL could change that. NIL could have a team like SMU, or, a team that isn't shit, like at Syracuse, man, like teams that aren't traditional players become players. They become players and they become teams you got to worry about. And that further just takes away from, we love this Miami brand. We love it. We love the swag. We love the history. We love the 2000s. We love the late 80s, Michael Irvin, and we love the 90s with Ray Lewis and Sapp and man, the history. The history. So we love we see the gold teeth and the dreads and the bandanas and you know what I'm saying? Like, we love the brand. We love the swag. We love the you. But you got to win. And, that kind of supersedes everything else. And our swag and our mystique and all that kept us around even as we've been losing. We don't have a brand coach. Mario Cristobal, as much as his name is known, he's not a brand coach. You know what I'm saying? He isn't a Dabo Sweeney. He's not a Sarkeesian. He's not even like a Brian Kelly. Shit, he ain't Chip Kelly. Um, he's not a brand name in college football to keep the brand of the school. That's why I think Kalen DeBoer might have some problems at Alabama because he's not a brand. Washington, he had them. Boys was doing it, but he's not. He's still not a brand name. So Alabama's used to names. They had Bear Bryant, they had Nick Saban. These are huge names. They had Gene Stallings. You know what I'm saying? They had names that were brands and mainstays in college football. Um, so we'll see how things play out. You see Bill Belichick making moves and getting his system in play, bringing NFL coaches, and that's going to be something in the ACC we got to deal with. And it'll be when we come late August. We got months to go through all of this and spring practice and more turnover and who we getting here or there. But I would just say, like if you don't care about the hype train, I feel you. If you don't care about any of these signings, I feel you. If you do care about the hype train and you hype and you feel like, when we sign Carson Beck and defensive coordinators and these players, it got you hype. Hey man, salute, 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 man. Like I understand, like you gotta have something to root for, something to hold your attention. And you're just like if we're making moves and making moves to you is like the program going in the right direction, then like I say, salute. I'm not fucking with it. I'll you know, I'll pass over the hype videos. I'll hit my like and I'll keep it pushing. I ain't gonna really give my energy to it. Uh I'm not going to invest in it because I know ultimately none of that stuff produces wins, and we want to win. And fool me once, fool me twice, fool me for 20 years, and I'm not being fooled anymore. So that's what we on. Just checking in, tapping in with y'all. I know a lot of y'all been having snowmageddon's been hitting everybody. So hopefully y'all been able to hold it down in this crazy weather, man. Snow in places that ain't seen snow or ain't seen snow in 20 years, 25 years. Snow on beaches, black ice shutting down cities. Uh, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So hopefully, you guys were able to keep it safe. Your families are safe. Um, Hopefully, we're not getting no more of this winter blast, this Arctic blast. Um, and we're gonna tap back in with y'all. I think we got some more stuff that me and Ike were talking about off screen that we're gonna get into because not just Miami, because we're from Miami, so we cover a lot of Miami sports. Miami's on fire right now. We got the Tyreek Hill situation, we got the Jimmy Butler situation, um, Miami basketball situation. So there's a lot of stuff going on with Miami athletics, Miami sports in general. But yeah, just tapping in with y'all. Um, got Super Bowl coming up, so we probably gonna throw some picks in on that. Uh, I know some of y'all love Mahomes, some of y'all love to hate Mahomes, some of y'all love the Eagles, and if you're an NFC fan, Cowboys, Giants, Commanders, maybe you say if they win it, that's a dub. That's a dub for the NFC East. And if they lose, you love it because fuck them. But we're gonna get into that. We're gonna do some Super Bowl coverage. Y'all can tap in and tell us how y'all feel about the Super Bowl if you watch. If you got a dog in the fight. If you don't got a dog in the fight, it's all good too. I don't have a dog in the fight because I really don't give a fuck about the NFL. But I think it's gonna be intriguing game. I wanted to see Lamar. Um, I wanted to see Lamar versus Jaden Daniels, the two quarterbacks that they said, especially Lamar, who said they couldn't be quarterbacks in the NFL or they were going to be mediocre. Lamar should win his third MVP. Jaden, after coming off a Heisman, probably having one of the greatest rookie runs, ever at quarterback. I wanted to see him get to the Super Bowl, um, but came up short. Came up short, and they love Mahomes. Kelsey, Swifties. They love that whole thing. So yeah, we're gonna get into some of that and a little bit of the NBA. I know if you guys pay attention to the NBA and the Jimmy Butler saga that continues and the power struggle with Pat Riley and Mickey Arison. But yeah, just wanted to tap in with y'all real quick and let y'all know we still here. We just been kind of like everybody else, just chilling in the background and just checking out the news. You still got the same guys that they're gonna hit you every day because they need something to talk about, and they gotta push the hype train. Um, mm, Y'all feel however you want about that. You know how we feel about it. Shout out to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cuban. I wanted to rub this Notre Dame thing in your face. So at least if I had a second team, at least it was a team that was doing something out here this year. Uh, I say shout out to everybody else doing their pods. I've been checking y'all out. So you dropping content, man. Keep dropping your content. Keep doing your thing, and make sure you like, subscribe, share. Holla at me if anybody's doing any lives that want to jump in, that want to tap in, and we could just talk, whatever it is we got going on, talking upcoming season, coaching, recruiting, anything like that. Anybody running any lives, holla at me. We can get it in. But until next time, it's your player partner, one half of the bottom of the map, and I'm gone.